It is the 100th episode of the Your Path to Book Publishing podcast. Thank you to everybody who has been listening, supporting Juxtabook, myself, and building out this podcast. This episode is going to be a little bit different than what we've done before. I'm going to be talking more stream of consciousness about what I've learned about doing 100 episodes, what I've learned on coming up near 15 years in the book publishing industry. And I want to help bring that all together to help you now as authors, and especially as nonfiction authors, on what you can do now to get started and what I've learned and what I recommend to authors on where to get started. So join me for the full episode. I'm excited to reflect on this, and let's dive into the 100th episode. This is Your Path to Publish. I'm your host, Zach Christensen. For the past decade, our team has guided authors just like you to find the best path to publish your book, get people excited to buy it even before it launches, and to turn it into the ultimate business card to build your business and your legacy. If you are ready to get your book out of your head and into people's hands, you're in the right place. Let's dive in. For the past 2 months, I've known this episode was coming up. When you're working on this podcast every single week, producing it and putting it out there, you tend to be able to keep track of where you're at. I have been doing a lot of reflection on where's the publishing industry going, listening to other thought leaders in the field, and really trying to decide, when new authors come to me now, what would I recommend for them? So first I want to start and talk about the things that I'm most excited about and looking forward to with the publishing industry, and what I have coming up later this year to really help authors to really decide, is this really the right path for them? Some different things that I'm continuing to see that I'm excited about is direct to sales for authors from your website, and being able to grab people's information. Places like Book Vault, Ingram Spark, and BookSpy are starting to make their technology better and more integrated into authors' websites. So you can set up a website and use their system to print on demand books to be able to send directly to your customers, and you get all of that information from your customers. So you know exactly who's buying it. You can further engage with them, and it's no longer something that Amazon or other online retailers have the information access to. This is now within the power of the author. And this provides a tremendous way for you to build your community. Build it faster, build it better, build it stronger, and be able to connect and produce more content that's tailored to your future readers and provide more value to your current readers. So if you're a coach or consultant and you want to build out more content, you can test it with this audience because they're already familiar with you, already familiar with your books, and what a great laboratory to have to engage with a community. Along with this is the increased amount of royalties that you can make from books. When you have a retailer, they're taking 50 to 60% out. Those sales are still valuable, but imagine pushing 1,000 people over a year to your website, and 100 of them buy your book, and you're making, instead of $8 to $10 per book, if you're self-publishing, you're making $15 to maybe $20 per book. And you might be able to offer some other things such as courses, consulting, and coaching to those individuals, and you'll be able to further provide value and maximize your time and effort and income when working with your readers. Exciting, huh? I'm really excited about it, and I'm going to continue to put more out on this as I'm going through this journey with my first book coming out in the fall of 2025. Needless to say that book publishing has been tremendously impacted by artificial intelligence. There's still so many unknowns, and there's still so many questions around what this means for authors, especially as your content and your books, and many authors' books, are being used to train these AI models. which has caused lawsuits. And until a decision is made, things will continue to be used to train AI for the most part. Now, what I see this meaning for authors is you can get things done essentially better, faster, cheaper, but with a caution of quality and understanding what that means, that if more people get into the market than already are, you have more competition. I've seen sites that sell books that are already made and edited, and AI was used to generate them, but they were then heavily edited. So you can buy a ghostwritten book, basically a white labeled book, put your name on it, and it's exclusive to you. They're not selling it to anybody else but you, which is interesting. As far as search goes with AI, you go to any website now and you're able to use a chatbot, and retailers are integrating this. So taking Amazon, for example, Rufus, instead of looking in the search bar, you could dictate, type, whatever it is, and say, hey, Rufus, I'm looking for a book on leadership development that focuses on teams and specifically leaders who are becoming first-time managers, and how I can find a book to recommend to those that I oversee that are going through this. And instead of getting a search with 10 to 20 books, you might get 3. So that's going to limit the potential capacity for authors to have their book seen. Now, using AI is extremely exciting for authors, as you may have already known and experienced. And here are 2 examples. I love to use it to repurpose content. I'm not sold on using it to write content, maybe to help you brainstorm, create an outline, but I still think authors need to use AI to write their own content and then use AI to help support and give feedback on it, but not to do the actual writing because it gets too complicated and really messy really fast. I love using AI to repurpose what you've written into social posts, into blog posts, into many other mediums for you to be able to take your content and get it out in different ways and capacities. And then one of the more exciting parts too, as I mentioned with chatbots, now you're going to be able to take your content and put it into your own chatbot. Now this potentially could be something you monetize and charge for, so that if you are offering certain types of content and for training or for consulting or coaching, whatever that may be, you may be able to offer that as part of your overall package, saying, this chatbot has all my knowledge, has my book, my information, and now somebody can engage with your content in that way. Exciting, huh? But also a little bit scary and unknown of how this will work out. So now let's jump to what I would recommend for authors. The one thing that has stuck out in my mind over this past year for authors is to start thinking about where you want to go and envision what type of author you want to be. You may already be starting to write your book, and that's great. You may have just an idea for your book, and you might be feeling completely overwhelmed about the whole process. And that's completely normal and okay. I've often talked about the author journey as 5 phases: book development, book publishing, author branding, launch and marketing, and beyond the book. And the reality is not every author knows exactly where they want to go with that. The authors that are most clear on that are typically the ones that I work with that are already coaches and consultants in their own business, but just want a book to help enhance and build their authority and get their foot in the door in other places that they wouldn't already be able to get in. So if I were to recommend a place for brand new authors to start, that would be your author brand. Get really clear on what type of author you would want to be and what you want to be known for. So when someone thinks of you and your name, what information do you want them to think of and have on their minds and immediately come to them when they think of you as an author? So as an extension of that is your content. Start to build out your content. Identify what type of content you most enjoy creating. Is it written? Is it verbal? Is it video? Is it audio only? Is it sticking to writing? Whatever that may be. There's like very narrow choices in that aspect. And then figuring out, okay, in what mediums do I most enjoy getting that out there? Is it through podcasts? Is it through blogs? Is it being on social media and posting videos? Is it just text that you want to do with blog posts or text social media based posts? Is it creating a Substack? Is it creating an email newsletter? Whatever that is, figure out what that is. And then also you need to bridge that with knowing who your audience is. And that applies across the whole spectrum. Obviously, I talk about that a lot. But knowing exactly who you're trying to connect with, but also in relationship to your content, because you need to test your content. You need to test it and build it out and find out what is resonating with people based on your content. Too many times, we as individuals, and I've made the mistake, and to be honest, still make the mistake of not testing out the content because I get so excited about the idea and I'm so engaged with it on my own that I don't take into account the impact I want it to have. If it's a passion project and something you just want to write about and you have the funds and budget to put it out there and don't necessarily need a return on investment from it, then by all means, just put it out there in the way that you want to. But if you're wanting to build something bigger, you need to have buyers. And in order to have that, you need to have content and offers that people resonate with. So for new authors, I would recommend start with your content, start putting it out there and start testing exactly what it is that you could put out there and see what resonates. Do your research, try new and different things. And the great thing and also challenging thing with social media posts and the digital era that we live in is that if you put something out there and it doesn't resonate, most people aren't going to remember it. That's why I recommend authors begin is with your author branding and your content messaging, because from there, everything else will become easier. Many authors, when I ask them, what is something you would pass on to other authors who are aspiring to be like you, they often say that they thought writing a book was hard until they got to marketing. Marketing your book consistently and building out your brand is even harder. So the sooner you start on that, the easier it will be when it's time for your book to come out into the world. There's so many other things I could talk about and go over, but I wanted to give you something simple. And there'll be many more podcasts after this. Maybe it'll be switching up a bit. Maybe we'll be having some more guests coming on later in the year, which I'm really excited about. So you can hear their stories and you just don't have to listen to me talk all the time. Although I do appreciate those who have been with me this whole way. So a parting other piece of advice is just taking action. We far too often sit and contemplate and think, and that's a lot of fun to do, but you got to take action. So whatever that action looks like for you, do that today. Commit to yourself to take one little step of action. Don't look at the whole picture and the hundreds of steps you need to take. Take one action piece today. And I'm excited to put out there and put forward that I am launching my book this fall of 2025. It's something I've started to put out there and talk about, but my book is coming out, my first book after nearly 15 years in the industry, and figured it's about time for it to be out there. So I look forward to getting it out there, having your support in that, and being able to provide value to you in all that comes with it. So as we wrap up this episode, thank you for listening. Thank you for being engaged, and go out there, keep writing, keep building, and keep marketing your book so that you can have the impact that you want to have. I look forward to the next 100 episodes with you.